for him. Right now, Jimmy Johnson will have the advantage going into turn 1.
Ooh, Jimmy was on at that time. Yeah, he clears Mark Martin down in turn 2.
Might make Mark think twice about that inside-outside pick.
Here's Casey Kane going underneath Mark Martin for second spot. Casey down low. Jimmy Johnson will now lead for the first time tonight. They are side by side for second, third, fourth, and fifth.
And that pink number 18, Kyle Busch, able to pick up a couple of spots on the high side on the restart. Now he goes to the bottom.
Casey Kane still trying to hang on the bottom of the racetrack and take that second spot away. Keselowski behind him. Here comes the 18 car. You were talking about DJ Kyle Busch.
Yeah, he's up there. He's just got nowhere to go right now, except he's going to try to make it 3 wide off of here.
Mark Martin gets clear of Casey Kane now. They get sorted out there. Jimmy Johnson got a pretty good lead while they were racing.
Yeah, he was liking what he was seeing in his mirror. He was able just to jump out there, and he's got all the clean air, running laps like he qualified. Matter of fact, he's running laps faster than what we used to qualify here.
29-11 last lap.
29 cars qualified for this weekend, faster than the pole was back in May. That's how fast it is here. Cool racetrack. Here's a couple of chasers back there, the 11 car and the 24. They are running 15th and 16th. And Sam Hornish spins it off the racetrack.
Get it fired back up. Might have to reverse. Leaders off at 2 now.
And we are under green, and
Still
now
green.
the caution will come out.
Reverse.
Yeah,
Get caught up. Leaders in 3.
NASCAR held on there for just a second to see if Sam could get this car righted because he was well off the racetrack. When he started backing up, they had to throw the yellow. Montoya's moved up about 5 spots since that last restart. He restarted 16th. He's up to 11th.
And Jimmy Johnson now leading. This is, by the way, this is the 16th consecutive race at this racetrack that Jimmy Johnson has led here at Lowe's Motor Speedway. You see what happened to Sam Hornish. Back of your screen, right side. There he is sliding sideways.
Yeah, he's just, he's running around there crippled after he hit that wall with that right rear. If he was loose before, he was extremely loose with that damage.
Going to be a long night for Sam trying to get onto that dot. You're watching ESPN on ABC. Matt Kenseth are driving Fords, and you could be too. Go to I'mDriving1.com to hear what the stars of Ford Racing have to say and register to win your own 2010 Ford Taurus. That's David Reagan's Ford we're riding along with right here. Onboard camera giving you good shots of an accident that he was able to miss there coming off turn 2 a few laps ago. Sam Hornish scoring a lap down here. We have 12 laps in the Banking 500 at Charlotte, only from Bank of America. It is race number 5 in the chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup.
After he had that damage, he's just lost it. Let's go down to Tim Brewer, and he can explain why that right rear quarter is so important. Tim?
Hey, Andy, right here at this intersection where the deck lid meets the quarter panel, the maximum height can be 36 inches. They utilize every bit of that because they're trying to keep the spoiler as high as possible. But when you damage the car and you put the quarter panels, knock them back down, anytime you take this rear wing out of the air, you give up hundreds of pounds of downforce, and that's very important with the speeds the cars are running tonight.
Thank you, Tim. That's why we have that Craftsman Tech Garage to be able to show you exactly how important these parts and pieces are, and they're trying to repair those damaged fender there, quarter panel on the 77 car. Getting set for the green flag. The Juan Pablo Montoya, by the way, has moved from 18th to 10th in just 12 laps. And Jeff Gordon has gone from 9th back to 15th spot. The 29 car, by the way, among others that came on pit road, had a speeding penalty exiting pit road. He will start at the back of the pack. 10 cars came on to top off and get some fuel and tires, including the 88 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Here's Jimmy Johnson now taking the green, and he pulls by a car length and a half. Mark Martin headed to turn 1. Ryan Newman up on the high side of the 9 car of Casey Kane, battling for 3rd spot, and Newman will come sailing by.
I think we can see this high side work really well on these restarts when they've got some good grip with the tires.
Yeah, it looks like the inside is good if you're leading the race. Like Jimmy Johnson was able to just jump out there and get the lead. But if you're not leading, I think that outside lane is the place to be as they run through the first and second turns and then down the backstretch.
A couple of future stars of NASCAR. And 20 there. Keselowski, the 25, and the 20 of Joey Logano running side position at 6 and 7.
Yeah, they're going to have some company here in a minute. Juan Montoya catching these cars.
We were talking about how Juan Pablo Montoya was going to be aggressive, and why not? He stayed 3rd in the points and has had good finishes, but he's lost some ground to the points leader, so why not go after it?
Yeah, it's hard to believe you could have a 3.5 average finish in 4 races and lose ground. Vince?
You know, it's amazing, and Andy, you mentioned this as how Juan Pablo Montoya picked up 5 spots after that previous restart, and that was one of the things that crew chief Brian Patty was concerned about heading into this race. He said our car has been slow to go. It doesn't seem like it wants to get going right out of the gate. If we can have some fast restarts and not lose positions early on, I think we're going to be tough to beat because we're really good on the long run. So Juan Pablo spots early in the stint, that might be a good sign for the 42 guys.
That's where that aggressiveness will pay off, is on those restarts. You can pounce on these guys right off the get-go and steal a spot or 2.
Yeah, if you have the car that will allow you to do that, and that's what they've apparently been working on, is not to give up anything on those restarts. We're seeing him run a lot of the racetrack here early on, where we up in the middle of the racetrack.
Left side of your screen, our in-race reporter Marcus Ambrose beginning to move up a little bit. You see behind him the 24 and 2, Jeff Gordon and Kurt Busch, a couple of chasers behind the ailing 00 of David Rudeman. You heard he's under the weather, hoping to be able to possibly make a driver change as Jeff Gordon goes by.
If you're not feeling well, this will be a tough 500 miles to complete. David Rudeman, I know, wants to stay in that race car tonight, but he's got a good guy down in the pits waiting on him. Dave Blaney had an excellent night last night in the nationwide race.
Casey Kane now moving back on the bottom of the racetrack, and will try to take this 4th spot away from Ryan Newman. Casey coming off a frustrating week in California, 34th place finish after being involved in an accident there with just a few laps to go. Thought he would have maybe a 6th, 7th, or 8th, and maybe have his 3rd top 10 in a row.
Boy, he likes this racetrack, though. He's had so much success here.
Shannon?
Something else Casey Kane likes this weekend is his engine. He is back to running the R6 engine this weekend. You guys will remember he went back to the R5 because they had some crankshaft issues. Well, Elliott Sadler ran the R6 the past 2 weeks, and the team has felt very comfortable with putting that in the 9 car. Right now, Casey Kane is good on that track, and he said, guys, this is one of the best engines I've had all year.
Shannon, he's showing he's got some horsepower right now, trying to pull down on the inside of Newman Chevy, but Newman powers back up, and look behind him at the 20 car, reeling him in. There's Logano.
Yeah, impressive run for Joey Logano here early on. Car looks glued to the racetrack right on the bottom.
See behind these guys, Matt Kenseth on the move. There comes Montoya. We talked about he started back in 18th position. He's now in 7th spot. 42 car coming in there.
He now moved up the racetrack a little bit.
Yeah, I think after you run some laps, then you might make that, might utilize that a little bit more. You can make some passes on the initial go, but then you have to get back to the bottom. But then you can make that top side work a little bit more.
00 David Rudeman and Kurt Busch battling for 16th position. Busch had it. Has gone by. Now you see Marcus Ambrose, who right along with Marcus trying to go underneath the 00 and take that spot away. That is 17. The only night race in the 10-race chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup on a chilly night here at Lowe's Motor Speedway, and they are heating it up early on this racetrack.
Yeah, talking to the drivers, these cars, because this place has so much grip, and a lot of the cars, look at Montoya getting a run off of turn 2.